Hello everyone. So we were planning what we were doing in the last video is we were planning to get this set of what we call set of lines or implementations or whatever things we do. Okay, set of things we do into a separate block and see whether the separate block works or not. Okay, so if we run this code now, we will know these things will be printed one after another in the simulation environment or in the real Arduino. So since this is very clear, I am not trying it with the demo, right? Okay, so let's try to bring it to a separate block. So how to write a separate block is, in another word, trying to bring it into a separate, oh my god, into a separate block. This is what I am going to do. But in another words, we can say we are going to bring it into a function. Okay, bring it into a function. So that is where the function thing comes. Okay, the separate block itself is a function. Okay, so we have to write a function in which, okay, inside which we have this set of codes. Okay, so we should know how to write a function. Okay, so there are few rules. Let's have a look on that. Okay, so in Arduino or in Java or in most of the common languages, when we write a function, we have a rule. Okay, so first what we have to write is we have to write the return type of the function. Okay, don't ask me what is the return type, you look at that later. So you can think return type is none other than a data type. Okay, what the function returns is the return type. Okay, function may return a value sometimes. Okay, if function is returning a number value, the return type will be int, you know it, right? The function is returning a string value, the return type will be string. If a function is returning a character value, the return type will be char. That means it's a particular data type. So you can ask, what do you mean by returning a number? So let's say you have a function that adds two numbers together, let's say 10 and 5, and gives the sum of these two numbers. Gives mean what? Returns. So it returns the sum of two numbers, an addition operation. Okay, so when it returns a number. Okay, so if it is an integer number, obviously the return type will be then a number value, right? So the what does that number value means? It will be probably an integer data type. So the return type will be integer, since we are returning a number. If we are returning a float point number, the return by type will be float. So we have to mention this particular function is going to return what type. Some functions may not return anything. That means they are just doing a thing but not returning a values like number or sum or whatever. For example, displaying the messages like this. If I'm going to serial print the messages, what the function is going to do is it is going to just do it. It is not going to give us a value at the end of this implementation. See, I'm going to return number 5. No, nothing. We don't have to do that, right? So if a function doesn't have a return type, okay, in this place of the function we write we don't have a return type. So how do you write this? We say void. Okay, if you see a function has something called void as the return type, that means the function is not returning anything. Okay, then you have to give the name of the function. Okay, you can give any name to the function that you want. Okay, so then, okay, my bad, where am I? So then, okay, we will have two open brackets. Okay, so inside this bracket what we will have is we can have function parameters. Okay, one or two or any number of parameters you can have. Okay, function parameters. So what this meant by function parameter is, for example, if you are going to add two numbers, okay, and return the value, let's say the numbers are being entered by the user. Otherwise it doesn't make sense, right? If you are adding two fixed values and giving the sum of the values, it doesn't make sense. You should ask the user, please enter two numbers. So that means user is going to give you two numbers, and you are going to add those two numbers, and we are going to return the sum of the numbers, that means the total. So in that case, we have to get two values from the users, and we have to give it to the function. Please take these two values and add this together. So these two values are called function parameters. Okay, not every function needs a parameter. Okay, but sometimes functions need a parameter, need one or more parameters. Okay, so on that case we can pass parameters. Okay, otherwise if we don't have to pass a parameter, or we don't need a parameter, we just keep these brackets empty. Okay, for example, if you since we are going to print these messages, these fixed values, we don't need a parameter to be passed inside the function. We just have to copy and paste all these lines inside a function and run. The function should work. Okay, if you don't understand this, don't worry. While we are doing practices, okay, tutorials further, you will get it. Okay, so then what we should do is, like every other if condition or every other loops, we have to have two curly braces. That means an open curly brace and a closed curly braces. So whatever you want to write, you can write inside these two curly braces. Okay, so any action you want to do, okay, anything you want to do, you can write here. Okay, everything inside these limits of this function will be implemented when you call the function. Okay, so yes, so this is the ownership area of the function, or this is the governing area of the function, is these curly braces, the area in between these curly braces. Okay, you understood that, right? So this is very simple. This is how we are going to write functions. Okay, so let's do an example and see whether this thing works or not. Okay, yes. Okay, so I think we can do it in the next video, guys, isn't it? So just follow me up in the next video and we will do that there.